Has there ever been a time that you bought a bottle of bourbon, whiskey, rye, whatever you were into, and you immediately regretted it as soon as you took your first sip? Well, we've had that happen. So we're going to tell you about it today.
Yes.
Next. All right, so we've all been there. You're super excited.
Yes.
Maybe you found an allocated bottle.
Oh.
Maybe you found something that you've been searching for forever. Maybe you were just really, really hyped up about something.
I was.
You bought it at the store. Maybe you got a good deal. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you overpaid. Maybe you underpaid. But you got home and you tried it, and it was terrible. Yes. And then you took some time. You let that neck pour get down, and you tried it again later.
Still sucked.
And it still was terrible.
Yes.
We've all had that happen before. We're going to talk about some experiences we've had and maybe give some tips at the end on how to avoid this.
Yeah.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay.
Because I know what mine was. It was a nightmare.
Yeah. So I don't have the bottle anymore because I gave it away. That's how bad it was. I gave away whiskey, which doesn't typically happen with me. You guys know this. I love toasted products, whether it be the Michter's toasted. I'm not even really a big Heaven Hill fan, but I love the Elijah Craig toasted. I love 1910. I like, Woodford Double Oaks. I like any toasted product, and found a toasted product from Nulu Craft Distillery, who I have had some good things from Nulu. So this is not a slam on them, but Nulu had a bottle come out that was a toasted Florida Select. It was a store pick that only was distributed in Florida to all of their big buyers. And I overpaid for it. I think I paid like $95 for it. I was super excited that it had come out. I thought it was going to be amazing because, again, that name toasted, or that word toasted, was on it. And so I was very, very excited for this bottle. And it never lived up to expectations.
Yeah.
Didn't taste any toast on it. It just tasted like a very young, very rough around the edges, just gross bottle. You tried it, didn't think it was great. I had other buddies try it. And
it was a barrel pick, right?
Like it was a barrel pick.
So it was just, but it was not from a store that you know.
Yeah, it was like a Florida pick. Yeah. So like that pick specifically got distributed all over the state.
Yeah. Okay.
And so just wasn't very good. Just wasn't, and I've talked to other people. I've had other samples of it. Just, I don't know. I got really overhyped. I was willing to overpay for it because it said the word toasted on the front.
Yes.
And I was very disappointed. I have a big takeaway on how to avoid problems like that in the future, but that was mine. Nulu toasted. What about you?
So every year we have a Christmas party amongst our family, and there's a good amount of bourbon drinkers. And so the general idea is you bring one bottle that you're all gonna get a pour from, and it's kind of like bring a nice bottle night. Get excited about sharing with friends and family and relaxing. And so when I walked into the store, I want to say like in August or September, I knew, seeing the bottle, I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is going to be my Christmas bottle. I'm going to buy it and save it for a couple months, and then we'll crack it on Christmas. So being an allocated bottle, the stipulation was that you had to buy store picks to unlock your ability to purchase that at MSRP. So I didn't overpay over MSRP, but I did buy
way
other
more
bottles
than you were intending.
Right, to get that. What did suck was that the MSRP was considerably higher than the $99. And so I saw your $99 and I raised you to $179 for mine. And so the time came around Christmas to everyone get together and pour some bottles. And so I pull it out. We're all excited about it. Open it up.
Glad you pulled it out.
Pulled it out. Throwed it right around. And we poured samples. And mine was easily the worst of like the 6 bottles that were brought. Easily the worst. It wasn't even close. And it was basically like drinking a floral arrangement. It was.
You're gonna piss some people off with this.
It was I'm telling you, and I like other products from this distillery a lot, which is why I was okay with paying $180 to get this freaking bottle, right? And so to me, it tastes like I was running in a meadow full of grass in the springtime. That's how floral it was.
Okay.
And I said, hey, why don't you try this? Same thing. Super potpourri floral notes. And every person I've given this to has been the same, like, yeah, that's not that great. Yeah, I know it's not that great. And it just sits on my shelf. It is Michter's 10 Rye. I love ryes. I love them a lot. I like Michter's. I have Michter's barrel strength rye. It's fantastic. I have Michter's barrel strength rye toasted. Also fantastic. When you unbarrel strength something from Michter's and age it 10 years, it gets terrible, apparently. So I'm just convinced that whatever bottle this is, or whatever barrel this is, because these are all single barrels.
You just got a lemon.
This is barrel number 20 E928. If you got that one, just go ahead and pour it out.
So just go ahead and just E928, because 20 is the year.
Yeah, 20 is the year. So this is like an older bottle. No, I'm not even. You've had this before. You've had this.
But he is still stingy with it.
That's
even though he hates it.
$180 friggin'. It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. And so let's talk about takeaways and lessons, because I learned a lot.
So my biggest lesson is you can't, and it may be similar to yours. You may have kind of a similar takeaway, but you can't just assume that something is going to be great. Sometimes you know, if you can do any kind of due diligence on, I didn't ask one person if they'd ever had it. I didn't ask if the store maybe sold a sample, you know, gave a sample of a store pick, which a lot of stores do.
Yeah.
I didn't do any kind of research on it. I didn't look up in a whiskey group to see if anybody had ever said anything. I literally just saw the word toasted and did anything and everything I could. I actually bought 2 of them, so I feel even worse.
Good.
But
so you're at 180.
Yeah, but I just didn't have to buy the other 3 bottles.
Yeah.
So I did anything and everything in my power to try and get it, and I did no forward planning. I let the hype of the moment drive me into getting something that I'd never had anything from Nulu in my life. So I had never tried it before. I didn't know I liked this distillery. There's a reason I didn't go out and buy Basil Hayden Toasted, and that's because I'd had Basil Hayden before, and I knew I didn't like their product.
Right.
And so if I'd have done any kind of forward thinking or any kind of just any research or any questioning or any thought at all into this, I probably would have avoided the mistake and probably would have saved money. Now, I may have still bought it and been disappointed, but I do regret not at least thinking through some of those things. And just because you like one product that says toasted or is a toasted product doesn't necessarily mean that every product ever that's toasted is going to be great. So that's my big takeaway. Maybe put a little bit more foresight, a little more thought into what you're buying. Yeah.
So a couple things I learned, general lessons. One, allocation does not equal better. Just in general, there is probably a reason why some bottles are allocated. Like some legitimately could be better, but not all of them are your profile, and not all of them are actually better than the general market. It could be name brand. You know, it's kind of like cars or bags or whatever. Right? That's number one. Number two, I learned that store picks can be really good because I had to buy 4 of them, and they were all better than this Michter's 10 Rye. It was so upsetting. So upsetting to me. So store picks can be really, really freaking good. That's like lesson number 2. And lesson number 3, one thing that I was considering was like, yeah, it makes sense to go out and try to do some due diligence, like sample this before buying it. But there's one bottle on the counter. I can't go and sample it somewhere and come back. And if I'm just going around and sampling a bunch of allocations at all the bars, I'm just gonna run out of money that way.
Yeah.
You know, so like, how can I do my due diligence on it? Because I knew I would have wanted this anyway, regardless. So I don't know. Do I have a third lesson? I don't know. Spend less money, I guess. Lesson number 3: don't buy expensive things.
Yeah, and there are times where we've overspent on things, and we were really happy we did, and we were happy with a product that we got. But sometimes it does come back to bite you, you know. And so, you know, not every situation is going to be the same, because there's been times that I wish I had bought a bottle and I didn't. You know, so it can go both ways. But there were definitely times that I rushed into something and wish I'd have done things a little bit differently.
One thing that's great about this now is I view this as a life raft.
If you ever get thrown overboard.
No, I can use this to save the lives of all other bourbon drinkers. So if you haven't had this, and you want to try it, come and try mine. I won't charge you for it. You've already tried this. You know it's bad. You can go and try this one, and then you can save $180 yourself without having to spend it. So
let us know about some times you rushed into buying a bottle or maybe didn't rush, but just bought a bottle that you were extremely disappointed with. We'd love to hear about that down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you give a thumbs up and subscribe. TJ Pinger, Ben Cock, this is Bourbon on a Budget. Cheers.
Cheers.